Hi, and welcome back to Going Ballistic. I'm Donna Carter, president and founder of GoingBallistic.org. And this is episode 3 of our podcast show, and I am so excited to have you with us.
111, 110.
Hi, guys, this is episode 3 of GoingBallistic.org's podcast, and today we are joined by Going Ballistic's Vice President, retired Texas Ranger Matt Coffin, and our honored guest that we're so excited to have today, Jaime McCormick with HighCom Armor.com. So, hi, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here.
So, in episode 1, Matt and I kind of talked about Going Ballistic as an entity and what that is about and why we're here. And then in episode 2, we were fortunate enough to have Sheriff Shipley, who would be the recipient of our first shield. He is the sheriff of Freestone County here in Texas. And today we're going to try to answer a lot of questions about shields and what they do and why we need them so much. So, Jaime, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and
Sure, absolutely. And again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of today's podcast. And HighCom, speaking for HighCom, we're very happy to be a part or, looking to partner with you going forward as you try to get shields out to places where they're really needed. I've been with HighCom for 5 years, have a law enforcement background, and I started off as a law enforcement program manager and then kind of stepped aside from that and now focus more on design development and manage our product line. We currently operate with 5 product categories. We do rifle armor shields, rifle armor plates, we do soft armor, helmet, and we build carriers as well for our rifle solutions. We manufacture out of Columbus, Ohio, business for 25 years. This was our 25th year in business, so we celebrated our 25th anniversary. And during that time, we've never had a failure, a penetration, or recall of any of our armor solutions. So we're very proud to have that record. But I don't want to take up all the time in talking about me and HighCom. Just kind of hopefully we can shed some light on what's going on in the shield market today, what we're seeing, and maybe talk a little bit about the makeup of the shields and maybe clear some myths and things that people might have or any questions that y'all have, that you think your viewers and listeners would benefit from.
Matt, do you want to jump in? Or, I'm lucky enough to be a part of the conversation. I know you and I have talked briefly, or the 3 of us have spoke briefly before, and I'm just anxious to just hear the dialogue and to clear up some of the misconceptions around what we're doing and why.
Well, thank you, Donna, and I too am really proud to have Jaime on board with us today, because anyone who's watching this at some point, I want them to have a clearer understanding of ballistic shields and the need for ballistic shields. And backstage, Jaime and I and we were talking about our experiences in law enforcement, and I told him in 30 plus years of law enforcement, I never had a shield. At all. I worked closely with U.S. Marshals, and they had them. But as far as being issued by, the Texas Rangers or the Department of Public Safety or any other agency, I never had a shield. And I know maybe it's a shift in our culture, but there's a real need right now for our law enforcement and first responders to have a vital piece of equipment, and that is a shield that will protect them and keep them out of harm's way in case they run into rifle fire. And I know, of course, we all talk about Uvalde, and this was kind of the impetus for Going Ballistics to be for its founding, because we want to get these shields and we want to get them in the hands of those who need them the most. Jamie, in Uvalde, was, in your opinion, could things have been differently? Could the law enforcement had a better chance if they'd had a rifle shield?
You bring up a great point, and as far as you'd be surprised. Not only shields, you're looking at shield as a more advanced piece of equipment with a specific function. You'd be surprised at the number of agencies and officers that operate out here on a daily basis, some without even soft armor. So that's a whole nother thing. And with rifle armor, the threats that are out there every day with talking to U.S. Marshals and people that are doing search warrants on a daily basis after wanted fugitive, things like that. They're running across more rifle threats than they ever have with the AR style pistols and things like that. But talking about Uvalde, I think prior law enforcement, I hate and not being there and involved. I never really want to critique anything, with brother officers and things. But even my friends, if you watch any of the video, the way things changed. I think if they would have known that had the rifle threat, and they would have had a shield that was manufactured and engineered to protect against those threats, I think it would have ended a lot quicker. And I've done my own viewing of the video because, unfortunately, we had a shield that was in that shooting, and defeated 5 or 6 rounds of 5.56 from the gentleman in there that was eventually taken out by the Border Patrol tactical team. And we had the shield deployed in with the U.S. Marshal's office in the Del Rio office, and they're the ones that brought the shield there. And you can see in the video when they bring it, and you can even hear the chatter of someone mentioning the rifle shield's here. And you see him, carries it kind of around on his back and goes down the hall. And a few minutes later, they made entry into the classroom. And I think the public and anybody else who looked at it was upset looking, because early on in the video, there's a lot of walking around in the hallway. There's a couple of guys, posted up on a corner with some shields there, but they're not telling you that those were handgun rated shields. Not that that's going to change tactics a whole lot, but it looks like it kind of did with the number of personnel that was there. Maybe no clear leader direction or whatever, but there is a false sense of security when you see a robust piece of equipment that's large, 24 by 36 inches, and you're saying, oh, that's a shield, and you automatically assume it's going to stop rifle rounds. Well, if it's not made for that, then it's not going to. Rifle rounds will go through it just like butter if it's not designed to take rifle threats. And that's kind of a misconception, even among administrators and in the law enforcement community. I've even talked to some and asked them, what threat level is your shield, and they don't have the answer. But since that day, if it did anything, it did wake up a lot of people and say, our people don't have the equipment they need to respond to these incidents like this. And I think I told you before, sheriffs are elected officials. They don't want this happening on their watch in their backyard. So, and then we saw some money being, in Texas, since that incident made available by the governor's grant. I think it was around 50 million available, all to go towards ballistic shields and training and things of that nature. And during that time frame, while that was open for agencies to put in for them, we had a large request for shield quotes, and hopefully those will turn into, they will actually get the equipment. But that's what we're seeing, and we're seeing it across the country. It's, I've had officers say that, the handgun rated shield has become obsolete, and anybody that's purchasing this shield is buying a rifle rated shield. The issue is the weight of the shield. But with the new technology, new consolidation methods, and the new materials, in one of our lightest shields, we use DSM Dyneema material, which is the lightest, strongest material, and consolidated in a certain way. we can make lighter, thinner solutions that will stop those rounds.
Well, as a novice, and being someone who was shocked and angered about what happened down there, and the fact that it had come into my radar that, Columbine, although a different situation, there was a shield, but just so 32 years later, we are having the numbers of shootings, active shooter situations are so increased, and yet we haven't taken the precaution that has been so far advanced. And Jamie, I know you can talk a little bit about it, but so what used to take a dolly off a truck and a SWAT team to be able to use now is something that can be easily handled by one person. And why wouldn't we want to just be able to have that readily available, since it's there, since it's able to be utilized when the need has done nothing but increase.
Yeah, and there still are shields that are utilized for dolly. For rifle protection, the NIJ levels are level 3 and level 4. And the level 4, it takes a lot of material to protect against it, and that round is the 30-06 armor piercing round, or a military designation of M2AP. So that a lot of those, you'll see those in courthouses. They'll be on a dolly, or they'll be a little bit larger. And the ballistic glass, if you have a viewport, is the heaviest part of the shield. So that's where a lot of the weight comes from. But to stop that 30-06 30 caliber armor piercing round, it takes a lot of material, and those are not really designed for individual use, to where you could deploy with a breacher for a SWAT team, or for making an individual shield out of that. And with the level 3, there's another consideration as well, which is the M855. It's a 5.56 by 62 grain bullet, the green tip, and that has a steel penetrator in it. So the polyethylene solutions, not all of them stop that. So that still remains another threat. We are working to develop a shield that's in a manipulable weight that a team or an individual officer could use. We do have that in the works now. We're getting really good results. But the other level 3s are tested to the M80 ball, which is a 308 round. Our current level 3 shields will stop the 308 round, the 760 by 39, the mild steel core, and the M193, which is that hot, fast 5.56 round. So that's pretty much what's in the marketplace to now, because you have to have a ceramic strike face to break up that M855 green tip round.
Okay, let me first of all, Donna, you were taking notes during all that, weren't you? You got all those numbers down?
It's being recorded.
And I can send it to you in a spec sheet.
No. I mean, I totally understand, get where you're going, but I'd like to break that down in some for our viewers that may not be as versed in ballistics and particular rounds of ammunition. For example, we're talking about armor piercing. If we're talking about anything that pierces armor, we're talking about steel. And of course, if steel, an officer carrying around a steel plate that would defeat armor piercing rounds would just be impossible. So when Jamie talks about a green tip ammunition, that is a military a round, let's call it, for whatever it does. It is made to pierce armor, whether it be in an AR-15 round, or whether it be in a bigger caliber 30 caliber round, or if it comes out of a 50 caliber round. Anything that's got a green tip is designed for armor piercing. And of course, even their rifle resistant ballistic shields that we're talking about probably would be defeated by a green tip round like that. Are we correct with that, Gene?
Yeah, yes, sir. And unless it's been tested to that round.
Exactly.
And
but taking those out of the equation, and those are a little bit more uncommon than what the common round is. But going back to a Uvalde type situations, barring the criminal carrying armor piercing rounds, green tip armor piercing rounds, we can expect that our officers are going to be protected, like Jamie said earlier in this recording, that their shields have been tested. They have been tested in real world situations, and they've never been defeated. Is that correct?
Yeah, for what they're tested to. And that day in Uvalde, they didn't tell us that our shield that was shot. I think it was shot at least 5 times, and it's in evidence now with DPS. And if I could have I have a picture of it on my phone saved that they sent me. I could send it over to you. You can't see anything because it must have been, I would say, an M193 round or something is what I think it was, or some sort of ball ammunition.
Okay.
But
well, I just think these things are so important. Jamie, we sent a list of questions over. You want to go over some of those for us?
Sure. Let me see. Do you have them there where you can read them to me, or let me see if I can pull them up.
And and part of going ballistics too, we know there were a lot of mistakes made, and I'm not trying to say that we have all the answers or that but this is a solution to one of the problems. And I just hope that we can somehow move the ball forward in the discussion around this, and take it maybe away from the gun conversation and different things that just seem to go round and round and round on the problem, and let's just move towards some solutions.
Yeah,
is part of my hope.
Yeah, and I know in Florida we had seen some interest from agencies there. It seems like the new high schools that they're building instead of like one single level, they're multi-level schools.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 or 3 floors, and they were looking to procure shields to have on each floor of the high school. Not saying that that's the only place where an active shooter incident can take place, but the schools have kind of thought now if we can have a shield there and have them put in the schools, then maybe the burden's not all on law enforcement to have it there, or that it's there. So law enforcement, as they train and they're in their jurisdictions, they know by policy where and how to access a shield at the school.
Jamie, I have a list of those questions. Donna sent
Okay.
me. Do you mind if we go over some of these?
Yeah, let's do it. Sure.
Your camera went off though, Matt.
Well, that's okay. Maybe our viewers will not miss me too bad.
Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about what HighCom can deliver in the realm of ballistic equipment. I know you mentioned earlier some. I guess you do helmets and soft body armor. Do you do any level 3 and 4 type body armor?
Yes, sir. We as far as our rifle armor, we do that in level 3 and level 4. Those would be rifle armor plates. And as far as helmets, we have a level 3 helmet, and we also have a level 3A for handgun round helmet that we manufacture. Right. And in soft armor, we do level 2 and level 3A, which are the NIJ threat levels for soft armor. And then for shields, we do level 3A for handgun, and we do a level 3 for rifle threats. And then we have a sew operation where we make carriers for our soft armor and hard armor plates.
Is this type of equipment easily accessible? I mean, is there a shortage of these things? I mean, if I am a police chief in a town somewhere in Texas, could I just call you up and order one, or do I have to get on a waiting list?
No, we do it every day. We sell it every day. We have about 70 different distributors that we sell through, and we also work direct with agencies as well. And I still, in addition to managing our product line, I still handle all of the direct sales. I'm in visiting agencies, multiple times a month, doing demonstrations. Maybe that's something we could do going down the road. If you guys would want to host we'd be happy to do it with you. Host an armor shoot where we could invite agencies from a certain area radius to come in, and we could do some demonstrations and show the capabilities of our products. The interesting thing about, and I won't go on this long, but as far as our soft armor and rifle armor plates, we have a lot of products on the NIJ's compliant product list. And these are items that have been and products that have been sent off. And after engineering, we spent a lot of money testing them and developing them and bringing them to market, but getting their NIJ certifications. They don't have a certification for shields. However, they do have a standard, which is the NIJ standard 0108.01. And that was established back in like September of 1985. And they have, and so they haven't changed it or modified it. I mean, it's still in existence, and that's, we test to that standard. So all of our, specifications on our level 3 shields would be tested to the level 3 standard that NIJ has put in place. But there is no compliant product list to go to like it is for soft armor and rifle armor plates, that you can go to and say this is on the compliant product list. But we test them in the same labs where other products are certified, but we test them to the standard. So we're always able to provide data to an agency end user that would want to see ballistic data on the model that they would be interested in.
And the NIJ is the National Institute of Justice, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they set the standard, don't they?
They do.
Good. So you talked about agencies. Can you give me just a few of the bigger agencies that HighCom works with?
Sure. We have a lot of product in Texas, and I have relationships that I've developed there. U.S. Marshals, we have quite a number of shields with the U.S. Marshals across the country and in field offices in Texas. We do Columbus Police Department in Ohio. We're near our facility. We do a lot of business with them, fully penetrated throughout that agency and their K9 unit, all of their patrol division. We do all their rifle armor kits for rifle responses. We're in their SWAT team. We're in their K9 team. We're in their K9 team that's attached to SWAT with shields. And we are in their gang unit, all their special units, Atlanta Police, Houston, Las Vegas, Texas Attorney General's office. We do their fugitive apprehension team. We do shields, helmets, soft armor carriers, and rifle plates with them. Custom border protection. We have done some bit as of recent, the last 2 years, we've been doing business with them, and we have some more opportunities that we're currently working with them now. We have over 2 million pieces of armor deployed across the globe. So there's a host of agencies, but I'm happy, any agency that's looking or has concerns, happy to send them a list of, referral from, customers that we deal with.
Jaime, why do you think that why aren't more shields deployed at agencies?
I think the big thing with rifle shield, I think there's a lot of handgun rated shields out there. I know just with U.S. Marshals, I think they have about 3,500 or 4,000 shields, but they're handgun rated, and they're starting to transition. The ones they've been buying now have been rifle rated. So we're seeing people transition from those. It just hasn't been at the pace that it might have been when they were purchasing handgun rated shields. And the big thing is the weight, and just in the last 2 years, probably the weight to be able to handle the shield has been coming down to where, our lightest level 3 shield is without a viewport's like 17 pounds. And with the viewports, 20, 24, 25 pounds. So the 2 years ago, the same solution, same size, was about 30 to 36 pounds.
Wow.
So
and isn't cost a factor?
Cost is an issue as well. It truly is. But there are some manufacturers now doing, we do them in multiple sizes too. So if somebody wants one for a team, we could provide that. And if they want one for, a certain size that would be a little bit smaller, but for a different function, we're seeing a lot of them where they'll have it in the supervisor's car during a shift, so their shield always out there, and also personal sized, where they're actually agencies are purchasing not a lot of them, but the ones that have the budget for it or personal size shields, like 18 by 24, or a shield that they actually issue them to the officers for their use. They're not getting a lot of coverage, but it's they have it with them where they could deploy it rapidly if they needed to.
Well, and that was part of my concern, because Uvalde, for instance, is not going to have a budget for something like that. Now I think they've purchased one.
We sold them one. They have one that we sold them, and then they were looking at rifle helmets as well. But
yes.
After each day that goes by after an incident, and it is such a shame in this country that something like this has to happen. And I talk to agencies every day. They're like, I know they have it in the budget, but something's going to have to happen before we get something like this. And it really is sad that has to happen. And then each day that goes by, it becomes less and less important, or not. It's not an important purchase anymore, and we just come back to
Well, and even just the name Uvalde, the weight that has carried, just from May to now has really, and I hate to say decreased for the rest of the country, but it has. When I first started this, and I was saying Uvalde and all of that, it was so impactful. Now it's already lost a little of the impact the farther out you get. For us here in Texas, I think it's still big, and of course the farther you go south, it's still so raw. But I don't want to let this opportunity go by without at least highlighting the fact that this is something that we can address to at least assist in the outcome next time. And and when Matt and I first had the conversation, that was the catalyst. It was, well, I wonder if there's a shield here. If it were to happen, at my son's school, are we ready? And the answer is no, we're not. And it's always like, well, it's never going to happen here until it's too late.
That's right. Jamie, as far as you know, is there any other group like Going Ballistic out there that you deal with that are providing shields for law enforcement?
Not that I'm aware of. There's a couple other nonprofits that are involved in doing soft armor to individual officers that they don't have the means, or there's no budget for them to get soft armor, or if it's just simply a piece of equipment that the agency doesn't provide. Right. But I'm not aware of it. And I think I spoke on this to Donna maybe last time we spoke on the phone. We had a SWAT competition here recently, and I donated one of our rifle shields to the winning team. So another consideration too, if you is to make sure if it's something that by policy that that the agency will receive. But I think as far as y'all go, once you're in there, you've already identified the need, and they're probably a willing recipient of the shield and its capabilities. But as far as making sure they get trained on it and not just getting a shield, that they get shield training and things like that is it's something to consider.
That is, and we've talked about that here. Jamie, do y'all have a booth at SHOT Show every year?
We do. Well, this is the first year we haven't had a booth for the last few years. It's the first time I think we've had a booth and kind of showcased in the last 12 years. Normally we'd go down there and just meet with suppliers and then kind of walk around the floor and
Right.
and these things and meet with customers and things like that. But this year we are definitely we've already set it up. We'll be down there. We're going to be in the supplier showcase and in the big show part.
Good.
And we're going pretty big. We're going to have, I think, 440 square feet. We're going to have a booth set up there. We're going to have a pretty good representation of our product line, highlighting a couple of our new shields and some of our new plates that we have in development, and a couple of new carriers. But yeah, we'll be. I can send over the information to you. It should be on my email that I sent you, Donna. There's a little banner at the bottom of the email that has just a SHOT Show. I don't know. I'm afraid to click any buttons and go off the screen because I might disappear.
See, that was me too. For our viewers who don't know what SHOT Show is, it is the largest gun manufacturer, every type of ammo manufacturer and all the accessories expo in the world, I suppose, and it's in Vegas every year.
Yeah, it's in January. It's January 16th through, I think, through the 20th or 21st. And it's also, they have hunting stuff, all the newest, all the, all the gun manufacturers, all the optics companies, all of ammunition, law enforcement, all the other armor companies will be out there. And it's it's a place for them to showcase and highlight new product launches and just the best of the best that they have.
Right.
And it's, but it's
so Going Ballistic needs to go, is what I hear.
Yeah, y'all should definitely go.
Donna, get a booth. We should have a booth there.
We should.
But no, if y'all do plan on attending, I'd certainly like to slot some time and let you meet the team and or definitely come by the booth. And so we have a lot of changes going on at HighCom, good changes, but yeah, exciting.
So let's talk just a little bit about what HighCom Armor, like I know you've mentioned being able to maybe get a shield. Now, do you sell it directly? Is it something that you need to know what department is receiving this sort of equipment? How is it actually going to play out?
I can work with you however you'd want to, Donna. I thought probably a couple of different ways to do it. I could either set it up through the agency or have something set up with you guys, have it delivered to you, and then you could present it to them. Or if you're like, hey, or if it's somewhere, if you get so big, you might end up with chapters all over the place, and we could send it to the agency. But I think for what you're doing and your purpose, it'd probably be best to send it to you and you present it to them and get some, maybe media coverage if you want it, if you felt, like you'd want to have that be a part of it. But that we could do it like, I can do it. I can accommodate however you would want to do it. But I see that's what we do with the other group. They get funding through some they're like fraternal organizations. They get funding through, and they normally have stuff shipped to them, and then they go and present it. But I've had some stuff shipped to the agency, and then they meet there and then kind of present it. But it's kind of whatever you think works best.
Well, and everyone loves this idea. Everyone, when I talk about it, loves the idea. However, raising the money, right, is where we are. And that is why I'm just so grateful that you are able to come out and explain a little bit. And then the more I dig into it, the more I realize just all the bureaucratic hurdles that are able to be passed if we just get Going Ballistic, the donations to where we can just get the shields out in the hands of the people that need them, and instead of some sort of long-term approval process, it will really just be them being able to accept it, which is funny that you mentioned that, because that was one thing Matt thought. And I thought, well, why would you not be able to accept it? But it's just an example of just the many things that go into the difficulty of running a department and financing it and why, I don't want to wait any longer. I'd like to just go ahead and just do it without, the hand of government having to be involved.
As far as level 3 rifle range shields, we have 5 different models, and then we have various sizes for each one of those models. So I'm not sure, if it's going to be best for you to, if you're going to kind of go in there with an agency and let them pick, or if you, I could give you the 2 best and the ones that are deployed out there now that people be familiar with. Like I talked to you about the Titan, which is our newest, lightest weight one. Unfortunately, it's the most expensive of all of them. And then the MTS shield is the one that we have with U.S. Marshals, and that's the one that has the cutout, and it's available in 2. So those 2 only are available. The Titan's only available in 1 size, and the MTS is available in 2 sizes: the 24x36 and 24x48. But it might be easier to kind of narrow that down, so you're not dealing with all the noise for 5 different models, all the different sizes and stuff. But if you have a special request from an agency, if you get in there and you think it's going to go a different way, or they need something special to it, we can accommodate that too. We do that all the time.
Well, Going Ballistic wants to provide, the utmost, the best, with the window and the lights and all those kinds of things. And I know we have briefly talked about the Bellfire and the Titan. And so, and I know you, HighCom Armor, is willing to really work with us on that kind of pricing. But just so our viewers, right? So viewers, we need money, and it's because like retail, and I know there's not really a retail market, but a shield roughly costs what? Like the 2 brands that we're talking about, which are the high end. What are we looking at?
The MTS shield, which is the one that has the cutout, is 24x36, and that was the one that was in the Uvalde, and it's the one that U.S. Marshals have. It meets their spec for a rifle. That you're looking at about $4,800, for that shield with the LZ light system, and that's agency government pricing. And then for the Titan, you're probably in the $5,600 range for the Titan.
Does the Titan have a cutout and a light?
It does. It has it has a light. The light is extra, but the price that I just told you what it would cost would be with the light system. Okay. The Titan is 20x34, so it doesn't have a cutout, and because it's a little bit more narrow. So as far as weapon manipulation and weapon presentation, it's the perfect size for that. Didn't really need the cutout, but the 24x36 has the cutout at the top, just for, you can bring your arm around and be able to point. See it. It kind of sets up perfectly through the viewport when you can see through there. But that's for donors that want to know, that's what they would be looking at in that dollar range.
And that's what I've been saying is the hope is to raise 5,000, and I knew that was sort of a ballpark. And
so you do have an agency right now identified that needs one?
Our first one will be the Freestone County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
I think you could throw a dart at a map of Texas, and wherever you hit, they would need one.
Yeah, but you've already talked to them, and they're willing to
yes.
Receive. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about I just give you that one, and we'll give that to them? Why don't we do that?
Wow.
What do you think?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, but all these people on here, I'm not sure how many people are on or whatever, but how about I get you going with the Titan, and we'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh, Jamie or Heike, thank you so much. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Because it's so many parts of this. It just seems like I have been, I don't know if it's the cart before the horse thing, and it's like it's hard to raise money, but it's hard to raise money before you give a shield, and how do you get a shield first? So that is awesome. I mean, that is like a huge
We're happy to
Great.
do it. We really are, and we really, as far as the end user, I mean, when we go to work every day, it's like saving lives is what we want to do, and
Amen.
we're happy to do that.
Amen. That's awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you.
No, absolutely.
Yes, and Sheriff Shipley, which he has told me about the grants available out there, and I went ahead and told him, I said, go ahead and get any money you can, but as soon as we can get you a shield, you're the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get a little jump start on it. So, but we can't donate them all. We'd love to, but we really want to. We want to partner with y'all and help this initiative. So happy.
Well, that'll just get us able to get a shield to somebody else then, and so we'll go ahead and get those feelers out. Which I know Matt and I have already talked about a couple people, and we just prayerfully consider what that should look like, and we know the need is so great that we're just real honored to be able to be a small part of it, and that's part of my pitch when I'm talking to someone in Freestone County is, whether it's $5 or $500 that you can put, towards that shield, like that's going to be the shield that you are utilizing to save someone's life down the line, locally, right here.
Right.
This is awesome. And it opens up the possibility for the next Going Ballistic presentation. So this is great, and I really appreciate it.
And I'm happy even going forward, we could maybe bring in some of the engineers that are involved in manufacturing. That could talk a little bit more about the raw materials and things like that, and then maybe some agencies where we've had shield saves. Where our shield's has been shot.
Yes.
And then even some of the shield trainers that can speak to, what they're teaching, maybe some tactics and things like that. And
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that just gives me a lot of hope. And I know, I know that's part of it too, that we need to kind of set aside the problems that we're facing and just look to the actions that can be taken. And you spend every day making the equipment better and more user friendly, and all of that is appreciated. And I don't know what to say. I'm kind of stoked.
I'm humbled. Yeah,
absolutely. We're happy to do it. I didn't know I was going to do it till I got in here.
Wow. Well,
I hope you don't get yourself in trouble with that.
No.
Now we got to get you to come down to Texas and show us what to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Well,
Matt, go ahead.
GoingBallistic.org. We need folks to donate, and it's a worthy cause. We have to be able to protect those who protect our loved ones, and what better way to do it than to provide them with the tools that they need? GoingBallistic.org. That'll get you there.
Thank you so much. And again, Jamie, I'm so honored to have you with us, and just your wealth of information and expertise, and HighComArmor.com. Check it out and look at what all is on there and what's available. And Matt, as always, I appreciate you and again, just your expertise and your experience, and your being willing to trudge this road with us. So
glad to be there with you, Donna.
Thank you for joining us today. Please go to our website at GoingBallistic.org and onward.
111, 110.